For the most part, it was a typical boy's room. The bed was unkept, and its sheets were in need of a wash. To the side was a cluttered nightstand, and to its side a cluttered desk. Crumpled papers and scratch work for some math class surrounded the closed laptop. In the waste bin were more papers and crumpled tissues. The waste bin would need to be emptied before his mother got a fix for cleaning up the house. A pair of worn jeans lay on the back of the chair. For the most part, it was a typical boy's room, save for the floor mirror hidden away behind the door. The boy stood in front of the mirror, not really a boy, or a young man preparing for his next stage of life. Still, he felt boyish, or at least wanted to feel boyish. His face grimaced at the boy that stood in the mirror. The boy in the mirror would be considered sharply dressed, clean-shaven, and smooth, unblemished skin. A pair of chinos that fit him perfectly. A pair of Oxfords that were well-maintained. A button-up shirt, custom-tailored, and a blazer with its bottom button left alone. The boy in the mirror was a quality example of timeless style. And he hated it. He supposed he couldn't hate it that much since he put in the effort to dress this way instead of keeping it simple with a tee and jeans, or putting in enough effort to have what his peers would call drip. Still, this wasn't the way he felt he was meant to dress. He took his clothes off in front of the mirror as quickly as he could without risking any damage to the expensive articles. The blazer and button-up were wrapped around individual hangers before being placed back into the closet where they belonged. The chinos put into the same closet, placed onto the hanger with a special fold he had learned online. The pair of boxers and socks were quickly and unceremoniously stripped and thrown onto the floor, adding to the typical boys' room aesthetic. He looked at his now nude body in the mirror and felt a bit more comforted. As was his face, the rest of his body was clean-shaven. His family had questioned the longer showers, but didn't pry too much for risk of embarrassment. His gaze went from his chest, which he found hardest to maintain, down to the bush that wasn't there, and then down to his feet, lacking the knuckle hair that the men's side of his family was known for. He grazed his hands over his arms and legs and savored their smoothness. His body glowed from the regular skin care that his peers almost certainly neglected. He glanced at his stomach in the mirror. During his high school days, he had been known for his somewhat chubby appearance. Now, his abdomen was taut after years of regular diet and exercise. He wasn't muscular, and he didn't want to be, but he felt fit and comfortable in this body. He just didn't feel comfortable in those clothes. Underneath his bed lay boxes of various sizes, packages ordered online and smuggled into his room before any family member could discover them at the front door. One box contained a neutral lipstick, blush, and a BB cream that he thought he might be able to use regularly. Another box held the shapewear that he had bought early on in his journey and immediately abandoned as it didn't do the job he wanted it to do. A scam that most women his age had learned much earlier in life. There was a box of skirts in different styles and colors, a box of thigh-high socks, a box of blouses. But first, he needed the box hidden furthest back. He crawled under the bed to fetch the most dangerous piece of the outfit. The boy in the mirror stood a bit embarrassed at his new appearance. He donned a simple pair of black and white striped cotton panties. He still couldn't quite figure out the sizing of it all. Though his rear looked perfect in them, his bulge was more visible than he had hoped it would be, and the tension in the cloth was discomforting. He remembered seeing online that some people liked this style of sorts, and it was possible this was the best he could do with his natural assets, but he still felt there was work to be done in this area. Next came the skirt. Today's outfit was going to be fairly simple. Charcoal gray pleated skirt with the hem halfway between his hips and knees. This one had originally come with safety pants sewn into it, but like the mesh of his swimsuit, they had been cut out for comfort. He was also hoping that it would make him feel a bit spicier while taking photos, given the risk of a panty shot given certain angles. The risk wasn't quite necessary, though. The skirt was oversized and revealed a pair of stripes on his right hip. The recommendations that the internet had provided on converting his measurements to vanity sizes had failed him. Though it was a cute look, it wasn't one he could go outside with. Not that he felt ready to go outside. For now, he was content with the boy in the mirror. Then came the thigh highs. A lighter gray, made mostly of nylon. They hugged his calves and thighs before topping off with a silhouette of cat ears. His favorite pair. He owned more thigh highs than most of the other clothes in his private wardrobe. They were one of the only pieces of clothing that he could safely wear under his normal attire without risking an appearance of degeneracy from accidental discovery. The outfit was completed with a black cotton hoodie that covered his lanky arms, but whose torso halted right above the midriff, revealing the trials he had endured for this moment. Unlike his normal shirts or coats, this was the exact opposite of functional clothing. If he had been alone this day, he might have spent the afternoon practicing his makeup. Flecks of misapplied nail polish stained his fingers and presented a slight risk of discovery. But he was not home alone and couldn't risk it. Today would just be a dress-up day. The boy stood in front of the mirror, not really a boy, more a young man hiding a secret. Still, he felt boyish in this outfit. He felt girlish in this outfit. His face grinned at the girlish, boyish person that stood in the mirror, the girlish boy in his kitty cat thigh highs, in his poorly fitting skirt, in his skimpy hoodie. This was the way he felt he was meant to dress.